What is up, everybody? You are listening to The Core, brought to you by Zelcore Plus, the one cryptocurrency wallet for all your custody and trading needs. For more information on Zelcore Plus, check them out at zel.network. So it feels good. It's been a while. This is Dale. I know y'all hopefully know who I am. I was on The Core with Goose, I don't know, maybe a month or so, 2 months ago. I was a former co-host on Crypto Street Podcast, and we are kind of just taking a break from that for now too. So we did that for about 2 years. It was a good time. Those guys are my homies, my brothers, but nothing but love for them. So shout out Whale and Prince. But this is a new adventure. We're gonna kill it. It's gonna be a different format than before with Goose. Gonna mix in some in real life stuff, and then obviously with the main focus be crypto related. I've got kind of a co-host in Nick Nasty. Nick, how you doing?
Hey, hi, I'm good. Nervous.
So you could nervous. Check her out. It's Nick underscore Nasty, Naste. Obviously, she can't spell, but that'll be fine. That's fine.
Play on Namaste.
I'm like, so is it really Nasty then, or is it Naste?
It was originally Nasty, and then I had someone not like that. Someone took offense to it.
That's really surprising. I see you're blocked by William Shatner, which is very disappointing.
It was him. He was angry.
Oh, okay. So give everyone a little bit of background about yourself.
Oh, really? Well, I got into crypto Twitter, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago now. And it was literally because of a relationship that I was in. He was like obsessed with it. And
did he like me?
He did. I did. I've told you this before.
Yeah,
I bought that shirt, the Star Wars shirt from the podcast you used to do.
That's right.
I bought that.
I remember that
before I even was on Twitter, but now I'm way cooler than he is, and past is past.
Yeah, and that's Nick, folks. There she is. Yeah. She snorts when she laughs. Give it up for Nick. We have also are joined by the show manager or my manager, whatever we are going to call him. He's the man of few words, but intelligent, wise beyond our years. We're gonna call him LD a lot.
Who wrote this?
We're gonna call him LD
but I love it.
Yeah, and his name Listen Destro on Twitter at Listen Destro. So LD, what's good?
Hey there. It's good to be here. It's my first podcast ever.
First one ever. So later in the show, we're going to be joined by Doug Boneparth. Got a nice interview with him set up. So that'll be towards the end. We're going to make you suffer through a bunch of other banter before we get there. But I suppose, LD, give a little background about yourself, big man.
So I am Listen Destro on Twitter. And as you said, you're going to call me LD, and that's cool. I've been in crypto since late 2016, and I goof off on crypto Twitter as much as I can. And let's see, I'm a writer in the tech industry.
Sweet. That's great. Well, like I said, you're the wise one of the crew. We're going to always, I know Nick and I are.
Appreciate that.
Nick and I are going to have some debates, I'm sure. I think, and you're going to always be the are
you like the dad?
Yeah. He's going to be like the dad.
I'm always going to be right. We know that.
Oh, wait a second.
For real. So, okay, let's bust right into some crypto news. First and foremost, I don't know how many people know about this, but a couple of weeks ago in Iowa was the Iowa caucus, and it was an absolute disaster. So I don't know how many people are familiar with the caucus process. So what happens is you're basically like the TLDR of it is you pick a candidate, and then like say you're in a square room, and each corner of the room is a different candidate. Like, so, Joe Biden is in the northwest corner, and Pete Buttigieg is in the northeast corner, so on and so forth. So then they basically tell you, okay, go and stand in the corner of the person that you want, to represent your vote per se. So then you go to this corner, and then you have to have 15% of the total number of people there. So if there's 100 people there, your candidate has to have 15% to be viable. And if they don't have that, you're allowed to go pick a different person, or you can just kind of sit in the middle and be undecided. So then basically what happens is they give you like, I don't know honestly how many minutes, but they give you so long. And so like representatives from Bernie Sanders' campaign and Pete Buttigieg's campaign can go to these other people and be like, hey, come join ours, our corner, our cult, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, that's just how the whole process plays out. Then if you're viable, you get to go on from there. And so does that make complete sense?
It sounds a little ridiculous.
It is. It's absolutely ridiculous. And for people like me, maybe you two like that process because you probably like to sit and have coffee and just talk about the news. But for people like me, you know, I don't have the time for that crap. I want to go there. I want to say, this is who I'm voting for. This is who I want to represent me, and then move on. Okay. And that's how I think a lot of people want to do. So in Iowa, a couple of weeks ago, they had this, and they tested out this new app for the whole process. And this app obviously did not work. There was one line of code error in it. And so it caused this whole fiasco. And I don't know how many people know this either, but at the 2016 caucus, the Republican Party declared Mitt Romney as the winner. Well, actually, it was Rick Santorum. They declared him the winner. And then like a day or two later, they're like, well, we're wrong. It's Rick Santorum is actually the winner. So there's, you know, bruise number one. And now this thing for the Democratic one, bruise number two. But the Republican side got it right. They nominated Donald Trump. It was said and done and over, which it should have been because of, you know, he was currently in House now. But anyways, that's the too long don't read. And I know that's probably too much you want to hear. And most people probably skipped past this. But anyways, this is what I'm saying. You know, everyone's always wondering what a real use case for crypto blockchain is. And this is just screaming to me that this is what blockchain could solve. Am I right?
You want to talk a little bit about that? What do you mean by that?
So I just think, you know, with this whole app process being the fiasco, I just think with blockchain, you know, it would just remove all the uncertainty, because even now, people think, so the person that designed this app and is the CEO of the company for this app is a former Clinton aide, I think, or upper person on Clinton's campaign. So, there's always people out there that are thinking, well, this app could be rigged, and whoever the Clinton campaign or the Democratic Party wants to win, this app could be rigged on that. So that's where I think the need, just to take that uncertainty out of the equation for something like this, it's a perfect use case for blockchain. I don't know what product out there could do it or anything. And, I just think this is just a real world scenario on what blockchain can do and could solve.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm sure somebody will do it. Somebody's going to build that.
Somebody much smarter than myself, which doesn't really take
myself
much.
Included.
I guess I'm in there by default then, right? Because
I didn't say it.
Right.
Okay, so there's that. Another thing that Goose used to do that I like on the show that we're going to continue is we're going to give the 5. Today is February 12th. We're recording then. So we're going to give the 5 winners and losers and just talk about them a little bit. What do you guys want to start with, the winners or the losers?
All right.
I don't care about losers.
Well, the losers should get something. So let them go first, and then like the winners. No. Do whatever you want.
Whatever you say.
Right,
you're the boss. This is your world.
Cool.
We just live in it.
Thank you. Wow.
Okay, so the top loser is some shitcoin called Terra. Its ticker is Luna. It's down almost 11% to 2,600 Satoshis. It still has, this is just what's amazing to me. Have any of you guys heard of this?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I have.
TERA.
Yeah, TERA. And then the ticker is Luna. Rhyme with tuna.
I have no idea what this shit
me neither.
is.
it still has a 78.5 million market cap. It's ranked 79th. And I know I'm probably going to get chirped at by some jackwagon that's like, you don't know what Terra is. But anyways,
Yeah, of course.
so what it says it describes itself as a price-stable cryptocurrency aimed at mass adoption, which, right, they all do. That's what they're all striving to do, mass adoption. As its scale grows, the team aims to have Terra evolve into a new financial infrastructure for the next generation of decentralized apps. Okay, whatever that means. So then the second loser, so that's the first loser. So sorry, Terra. The second loser is centrality. I don't know. I'm probably saying that wrong. I'm just a dumb hick from Iowa. That is down 7.3% to 820 Satoshis. Still has, it still has a 71 million market cap. What the heck? Anyways.
I don't think I'm going to recognize any of these losers.
Yeah.
Oh, you will.
Yeah? All right.
Nem. That's the next one at 4.91% down. 650 million mark. That's just unbelievable. Decentraland. Do you remember that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. See? That one is the fourth place loser at 4.83% down. That was the real estate, right? You can buy
it is.
Prince did that for a while. I remember him.
It's a berry coin too, isn't it?
Is it?
I think so. I think it has something to do with it.
Shilbert's gonna shill, and then coming in fifth place, the fifth loser is Blockstack, down 4.5%. Sorry, Blockstack, I do not know what you are either.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, so we're gonna start with number 5. We'll end with the top gainer for the day. It is something called Hollow. Again, it's hot. Its tickler is hot. It's up 13.96. It's a decentralized app platform using peer-to-peer network for processing agent-centric agreements. Nick, I know you know all about that. And then coming in fourth is Nick's favorite.
Oh.
Ripple.
Oh
14.1% up.
Ripple.
What's wrong with Ripple?
Nothing. Ripple is.
Oh, so now are you saying you're a Ripple fan?
I'm not. I'm really not sure how to play this right now.
Oh.
I'm not.
We're waiting. We're waiting. What's your stance on
side.
it, Nick?
On Ripple?
Yeah.
I don't pay a lot of attention to it, honestly. That's pretty much it.
So
I'm really like basic, okay? I'm like Bitcoin hodl. The end.
Let's not ever say that word again.
Yeah. Outlawed.
Can you just cut that out? You can just cut that part out. I don't want to be the
when
one
you guys say that, how do you pronounce it, honestly?
Hold.
I just say
hold. Yeah, hold.
Hold. No.
Nasty's over here saying,
it's
let's biddle.
If you're gonna spell it incorrectly, you have to say it incorrectly. If you're gonna
spell it incorrectly though.
Well, that's the stupid way that they do it out here. Can you cut that part out too?
No, that's definitely making the cut.
Oh, bless.
Okay, so then the third place, Ripple, everyone knows Ripple, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Third is Pundy X. You guys know that one?
Yeah.
Shut your mouth. Really?
Yeah. Up 14.48%.
Interesting.
Yeah. I didn't realize. I thought that one was a lot bigger than 52.5 million market cap.
Yeah, I did too. But I also thought it was just completely dead. So
that's a MPXS. That's that airdrop of. Help me out, LD.
I don't remember.
Airdrop of. It was an airdrop of something. I want to say Ardor, but no, that doesn't sound right. Someone will have to help me out after this show if anyone actually listens.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure either. I think it was something like that. I know. I'll ask Messiah. He'll know. And then in second is Nick. You're gonna have to pronounce this. Chiliz.
Chiliz.
Chiliz?
Chiliz?
Yeah, I don't know.
CHC. I don't know.
Where's that traded?
Probably
What awful exchange is that?
Probably Binance.
Mm.
Yeah, it is on Binance.
Is it?
Yeah, unbelievable.
How did Prince used to say it?
Binance.
Binance.
I love that guy. All right. And in first, the biggest gainer of the day, Hedera Hashgraph. If you don't know what that is, it's a decentralized public network that aims to allow anyone to transact, play, and socialize in a secure, trusted environment. This was brought to you by whatever the case may be. All right. So
and they partnered
also
with Google, right?
Yeah, of course, Google, and they're going to have a rebrand soon. Some other ones that are notable for the day. Siacoin is up 12%. Ethereum up 11.5%. Neo up 10.2%. Stellar, Theta, Tron, Tezos. Guys, alt season is around the corner. I'm calling it right now.
I've got all my bags.
I said it in the pod in Crypto Street a long time ago. That and you can go back and listen because it's there. The alt season was going to happen this year. I don't think it's going to be on the magnitude of 2017. I don't think we'll get there until we see all-time highs in Bitcoin, but I think we're gonna have a decent year. That's what I think.
Let's go.
I mean,
I'm ready. I'm packed.
Are you ready?
Nick, are you ready?
Am I ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Your bag's packed?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Let's go to – so there are your winners and losers for the day. Let's go to in real life news. This is brought to you by Purse.io. Purse.io is a website where you can go and name your discount on anything, but you only pay with crypto. You can name your discount. Obviously, if you put 20% or 50%, it might not fill, but you can buy now for the standard 5% discount. Only use crypto. Check them out, Purse.io. Nick, what you got?
Well, coronavirus. We can touch on that. I'm not sure what to believe. Like I want to freak out, but I also don't want to freak out because I really don't want anything to happen. So I'm conflicted here. Are you guys like wearing masks and stuff or putting your travel plans off or?
So unless alt season happens, I don't think I'll be traveling anywhere, but I don't know. I'm not too concerned about it. I know people are commenting, it's so bad over in China. Well, I don't think their healthcare is the best. I think they're crammed in like sardines, and they're not the cleanest of people. Sorry, China. Some of you are. Don't get me wrong.
Oh my God.
They're definitely getting hacked.
We'll just cut that part out too.
So I don't know. LD, what do you think? You're the wise one.
I'm not worried about it at all. I think it's just another thing for the media to jump on and scare us with if they can. I don't think twice about it. I'm not going to wear a mask.
So let me ask you guys something.
I would travel if I needed to. I'm not worried about it at all.
You wouldn't go there, but you would.
Well, I wouldn't go there anyway, but no, I wouldn't.
Okay, let me ask you guys something. Do you think it's been I know sometime we're going to go down deep rabbit hole here. Do you think that sometimes like the governments of countries, purposely push this in the news so that they can hide other things that's going on?
Yeah. I mean, I know that happens on a small scale, like in, local situations in the States. So absolutely, I'm sure.
Do you have an example of that locally?
We had that I live in the Carolinas, and we had that happen with the toll lanes on the interstate.
You guys have to pay tolls?
Instead of just widening it, because the traffic here is insane, there's like no infrastructure.
Yeah.
Instead of just widening it, they added toll lanes, so you have to pay to use them. It was a huge thing, and they were doing the bathroom law at that point where like men could use the ladies' room, and people were really upset and freaking out, and there were so many other things in that bill as well. A lot of stuff people were not happy.
That's very conspiracy. Next on The Core, Nick dives into the toll roads in North Carolina.
People are angry. People
Exciting
are
stuff.
really angry.
It's exciting stuff.
Oh my gosh. They would love that. They would have loved this platform.
Yeah, we're gonna
Love
be
stickers.
trending next to Dr. Phil's murder mystery because we're diving into tolls. Well, that's good. What else you got? Anything else?
I mean, I really wanted because, if we'd have done this before, I wanted to talk about the halftime show at the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay, let's do it.
Because everybody, when I went back to work Monday, I work with a bunch of women, so they were like,
of course,
really upset.
Let me ask you this. Did these same women love it last year, though? Okay, when Adam Levine was half naked?
Probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't know that that's the same, but yeah, I guess it's similar.
All right, cool. LD, you got anything before we bring Doug on?
About the Super Bowl halftime show?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, what I saw, and that's really all that matters, I think.
That's right. Forget everybody else. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you at the beginning, he's a man of few words, but by God, you better listen. Wow. All right, let's get Doug on. Finally get to the part where everyone is actually tuning in for. I know everyone's tired of listening to Nick and I babble, so it's time to get in with Douglas Boneparth. You can find him on Twitter at Doug Boneparth. He's the president of Bone Fide Wealth. Doug, what's going on? Thanks for joining us.
Oh, so happy to be here. It's my first crypto. I think it's my first official crypto podcast.
First official one, and it's the first episode of The Core that we have. And what people don't know is we've been trying to get you on, or I shouldn't say trying to. We've been coordinating a time for you to get on, and a lot of times most of the time it's been my fault. Not gonna lie,
100% of the time.
Just was trying to make it seem like I'm not a total hose job, but
it's okay.
It's totally been my fault.
You.
So let's just start. I know. Let's just give a little background on yourself for people that live under a rock and don't really know much about you. Then kind of what we want to do is talk about this article you wrote, and then we're going to lead into the cryptocurrency market and then traditional finance, how we can merge that piece, what needs to happen, blah, blah, blah. So let's just get to know Doug a little bit here.
Sure. So as you said, I'm the president of Bone Fide Wealth in Manhattan, and my firm, it's a fee-only RIA that specializes now pretty much with older, high-achieving, high-earning millennials. That's the target market that I play in. And if you said you were going to work with millennials in personal finance or wealth management like 6-7 years ago, you just got laughed at left and right. It wasn't something, the profession and industry thought was really viable. And when it's like a gather assets mentality, you're looking at a demographic that just hasn't gotten to accumulation phase yet. Of course, you're going to get laughed at, but I kind of saw where, I grew up doing this. My father is a CFP. I grew up in wealth management. So it's easier for me to see trends and to see where the landscape is changing, which is primarily why, here I am on a crypto podcast, being able to somewhat intelligently speak about an emerging asset class and how it relates to wealth management. And you can imagine that more and more, certainly over the past year or two, more prospects and clients have been coming in the door with positions in crypto. So from my perspective, it's a lot more normal than your traditional asset management firm or wealth management firm. And I personally own Bitcoin. I actually didn't buy it. I mined it like an OG in 2014. I had a friend I love like a brother, guys like a neuroscientist, in Texas. Like you
Wow.
can't have a normal convo with him without most of what he says going over your head. And I guess I'll just like dive into the story of how I came into, this space. And it was a call, I think, right after getting married in 2013. And he calls me up and he's frantic and he's going on about blockchain, these things called Bitcoins. I can hardly keep up with what he's saying, but I knew what he wanted. It sounded like he wanted money. So, to make quick work of this, having, just came back from our honeymoon and spent a lot of money on the wedding and everything like that, I immediately say, hold on one second. I put the phone down. And I tell my wife, Heather, I'm like, Heather, is on the phone. He wants $3,000. That's 50% to buy this thing called a Bitcoin miner. It's a computer. Thinking my wife's just going to be like, get off the phone. And she's like, oh, he's calling. Yeah, give him the money. I was like, what?
It's like that instant credibility of, I think everyone has friends like that. And he's like, oh, so-and-so's calling. Well, he's successful. So let's just jump right in.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like financial success, although he's fine. It was, she knew there was this, he thinks on a different level, than anyone she's ever met of my friends.
Sure.
And yeah, he has credibility, at least from an intellectual point of view. And there's a lot more to it, but nonetheless, like a wire goes out the next day. And months later, even after visiting him in Texas, he takes us to, in Austin, I forget who manufactured the miner. He takes us to like this small office park in Austin, Texas, where he is now standing in front of like people who are surprised that he's there, asking a ton of questions to like validate to me that we made a good investment. And I still like have no idea what's going on. And sure enough, we secure a 2 terahash miner,
Wow.
back in, I think 2014.
That's awesome.
And I treated it like your general partner, I'm limited partner. I will, I'm here to give you the money and you're going to mine it. You're going to plug it in and you'll set up my digital wallet and you will deposit half of everything we mine on a monthly basis before this miner basically becomes a giant paperweight or we look for some altcoins or something. And at the end, all said and done, it was like 5.86 Bitcoins each.
Nice.
Which was a nice haul, for just, saying, got to give credit to my wife for being like, hey, give him the money. But I learned a lot, in just doing this. And he really trained me up well. I still feel rusty today, given how much has evolved since 2014 to now. I can't believe it's been 6 years. But I started to then figure out like how this was going to be positioned in wealth management. I had a leg up on that. And I wrote an article for CNBC that was titled One Financial Advisor's Bitcoin Journey. And I felt like it was an opportunity to really express how I felt about cryptocurrency, or in this particular case, Bitcoin, because that's what really people knew as a mainstream audience. And it was my first, and I think most of it holds true, and anyone listening can Google that and go read it. I would probably change my stance on a few things. But ultimately, it was this idea that, people are going to come to you as an advisor with questions and you need to be prepared to answer those questions. But, at that time, it was so volatile. It was so risky. This is probably around, that rise up to 20K. In 2017, this had to have been 2016, 17, when it, when your grandma would call you up and be like, have you heard of Bitcoin? It's like, all right, that's the market top right there.
That's time to sell.
Yeah. And nonetheless, I've been through, I guess, 280, 90+% drawdowns. I've held, I haven't done anything. And back to the piece anyways, it was kind of like one of the first pieces out there about how financial advisors were thinking of this. And it was kind of like, keep your hands and feet inside the ride. Like, I can't advise on this. I want to learn so much more, but I basically cannot advise on it. And sure enough, that holds true today, 3 years even after that.
Yeah. So as a CFP, what are the guidance, or what are they, the governing body telling the CFPs, Bs, or whatever, CF just to kind of what's their stance on everything?
Even before like CFP board has a stance on it, and we can get into that. I think it's more for your mainstream advisor. What do the regulators say about it? And what does if you're at a broker dealer or you're at a large RIA, what's your firm policy say about it? And anyone who knows what's good for them will more than likely. I mean, compliance at firms are always designed around the biggest idiot, right?
Totally.
So inherently, you're the bigger the firm, the more restrictive you're probably going to find compliance overall. But right now it's an educate, don't advise type situation. Like, you can sit down with a client who has it and explain what the tax consequences are if they sell. You can explain to them, to the extent your knowledge allows it, how blockchain works, how cryptocurrency is working, what an ICO is, and start to lay out the land of what the space looks like. And that's almost it. Like, you absolutely cannot say, hey, I'm looking at your brokerage account here, and I think we should have X allocation here. You can't do that. I would strongly encourage my peers and my colleagues to not do that right now, until such time as we're provided with a safe and almost fiduciary-esque way to work with cryptocurrencies in a portfolio. Like, we got to get there if we want to see folks like me who carry a CFP designation, or great advisors doing right by their clients, make a legitimate recommendation as to how this works with inside portfolios.
Do you think we're close to that, or if we're still far off?
That's hard to answer, because I think I have a lot of bias in it. Sure. And I'm very connected to it. I saw it was Bully who tweeted today that ICOs are coming back from the dead, and that the SEC commissioner is willing to work closely with folks who want to do an ICO. And on one hand, awesome, like, that's actually progressive, right, of a regulator to say, listen, we'll find a legitimate way to do it.
Right. And
I guess the downstroke is you got to work with the SEC very closely.
Never fun.
Yeah, which for all the stigmas the space has, the crypto space has, that doesn't sound
appealing at
like
all.
What a lot of people want to do. But I think in there lies the rub. I think the community needs to advocate more, if they aren't doing it enough, to work hand in hand with regulators and try and find a way to have this become a real solution for investment advisors who want to recommend it in a client portfolio for the right reasons.
Yeah, there's just, I'm in the finance field myself on my day job, and I just don't feel that, I don't know if we're close, or if we're as close as we think we are or gonna be. I just, my question now is, of new emerging asset classes and their maturity. I'm trying to think of one that I can compare it to or ask you to, and I can't think of one off the top of my head. But do you think,
really hard.
Yeah. Do you think, maybe this is an unanswerable question, but do you think we're kind of on the same roadmap as that before they got to where, they wanted to be, as far as the whole cryptocurrency space?
I think what would help, not to side skirt the question, but I think what would help would be like a larger use case, right? Sure. Like that's what's so important about cryptocurrencies, is finding something that gets that mass adoption to where we own. And I think that will happen, but like, I would, if I'm going to point to any one factor that would accelerate how close we're getting to something that is adopted mass market from a financial services standpoint, it's going to be that right there. And I know there's a lot of people who are promoting that vein right there, which is, we need to be able to use this. Like, these are all great ideas of how you could use blockchain, but until such time as there is only one standard for whatever utility it is, and it's on, it's on the Bitcoin blockchain. Boom, there you go. I mean, you'll
Right.
off to the races we go, right? And yeah, but there's nothing like it, which I think is certainly a challenge.
And like Nick and I talked earlier in the show on the Iowa caucus portion, that Doug, last 2 weeks ago, that Iowa held the first national Democratic caucus. I mean, Republican caucus too, but there was an issue. They used an app for each caucus site to send in the votes, and there was an issue with the app coding, so they weren't able to. And I know CoinDesk put out an article about, this is the need. This is a perfect example of what blockchain can solve is this. So, there's, I think, but I at the same time, I think there's probably friction on both sides of the aisle. The blockchain enthusiasts think it's the best thing since sliced bread, and the people that aren't familiar with it, it's just confusing to them.
Well, there it is, right? And you're doing a good job setting up kind of, if the crypto community, which is pretty smart given who I've spoken with. I mean, these are not your Johnny come lately. I mean, they're usually pretty smart, tech enabled, really can dig deep into, I mean, some of these white papers I'm reading are bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's wild. But I think when you're moving that fast and you're that smart, you often forget or just get frustrated with a lot of the people who make these decisions to either regulate it or get it indoctrinated are unfortunately very old, very stodgy. Learning these types of things is foreign to them and scary.
Yep.
And we can't forget that we got to hold a lot of hands if you want to see this move more quickly, or to get more support from ultimately the folks who have the power to make Bitcoin and crypto dreams come true, as far as people seeing it in a brokerage account someday.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I don't know, if Bitcoin, obviously it's the leader of the pack, and I think that's, at the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to accumulate more of is Bitcoin, whether or not I really believe in other projects.
Mm-hmm.
I do think some of them have some great use cases. Whether or not they'll actually come to fruition is the real question. But, I don't.
Selfishly, I would only, obviously, this is extremely biased statement, but I would only focus on Bitcoin. Even if we just kept it simple, it's a store, it's rare. It's a store of value, and its price is made up on what people think it's worth. If you literally do not go any further than that, and kept it that simple, I think there would be a ton of success with it. Seriously, that's how you start robbing gold's market cap, and that's how you start, creating an asset class that's very easily defined by those almost three criteria, which I think is true.
Yeah, I would definitely agree there. I want to circle back to just a random question. You don't have to answer it. Back earlier, you had mentioned that some of your clients are already coming in and they hold cryptocurrency. Is the majority of them holding just Bitcoin, or do some of them dabble in alts? Or is it mainly like the big two or three that they're into?
Big two or three. I mean, I haven't seen someone, get rich off Dogecoin yet, although I'm really disappointed I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty much, surprisingly, the biggest one was Ether, right?
Right.
I think there was some price action going back a couple of years ago where it just exploded, and
It did.
it turned someone into a millionaire. I mean, at the same token, I had someone call me up yesterday or the day before with a YOLO call on Tesla, before it went crazy last week, and ended up with a lot of cash in their account, and these things happen. But for the folks that have come in with cryptocurrency, they feel good knowing that you have a pretty good grasp. And this is where it's important for advisors to really start to get to know this at the very least the educational level, because if you're going to be growing your firm over the next 10, 20 years, you're going to see a lot more of this. And if you're certainly a young advisor, you need to have basically a fundamental, approach or a foundational approach to cryptocurrencies. Like you don't need to be, on crypto Twitter every day, keeping up with the latest and greatest, but you need to have your wits about you and a baseline knowledge of how this works. When you're thinking about guiding your clients, because they're going to come in and they're going to have this, and they're going to decide to hire you or not based on how little or how much you know about crypto.
Yeah. So where do you see crypto going from here, and what needs, let's focus on the SEC and the regulatory bodies. Where do you think, what actions and steps do they need to take for people, for the mass adoption of crypto or Bitcoin?
Yeah, they just need to lay out and be comfortable enough with the asset class to lay out specific instructions as to how to compliantly make a recommendation for crypto to be in a client's portfolio. Now, let me give you an example. Like when I have conversations with clients who've amassed enough, investable assets, and it becomes appropriate to explore alternatives or opportunity portfolios, everything from, simple baskets of stocks of your best picks to real estate and real assets. There's micro cap investors, which is how we spin penny stocks these days. Like these are all potentially very risky propositions. I mean, you can go down, futures, you go down derivatives. I mean, how risky do you want to get within the traditional space? Man, I'll find you risk if you want. Private equity, and go back your sister's boyfriend's startup of just him. Geez. And you can make legitimate recommendations around this based on, how much they have, whether they're an accredited investor. You can do a lot of that, but you start to talk about, allocating to crypto. It's a full stop. So give me the rules around this, right? Tell me how it's okay to have a 1 to 5% allocation in a diversified portfolio to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know if it's really all that different from, creating a, best in interest recommendation for a lot of other speculative investments. Like almost in my mind, it's always a matter of full and fair disclosure and due diligence. Were you able to educate and disclose to your client how this works and provide enough due diligence that they can make a decision that they believe is in their best interest, right? And not look at you and say, oh, they twisted my arm here. It's not like you're getting paid a commission to sell Bitcoin. Imagine that.
God, I wish sometimes I did.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Can you remember? Can you believe, like, we used to be in this almost, take rips on selling stuff.
Yeah.
It's like we don't do that anymore. It's
stuff.
just it's AUM now, and you can't put 2% in a portfolio and charge on it. You couldn't even get that far. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that guidance from ultimately the body that can come into my business and say, "Wait, show me everything. What's going on here?" And you have to oblige. Like if I don't have rules around how to deal with a situation like that, where regulators and the compliance people are going to be asking me serious questions that can result in either me being in business or out of business.
Right.
You're not going to do it. Like, stop with this. Yeah. Like, so this is where I'll get passionate. If you're anyone interested in doing this and you don't have a rule book from the people who can put you out of business, you already know what the answer is. Now, it sucks, but especially if you're an enthusiast and you want to see it. But I highly suggest highly, highly suggest, whether you're a CFP or just a great financial advisor, follow the rules at all times.
Yeah, you either follow the rules or you go to jail. It's that simple, just like pineapple on pizza.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so a couple things before we tie up here. One thing I want to talk about is a tweet you made a couple days ago, maybe a week ago, that I like. And I want you just to elaborate a little bit more, because I think a lot of people that are going to listen to this are probably going to be, a lot of the crypto folks, young people, without giving financial advice, give financial advice type of thing here with us. Okay. So you
Yeah.
tweeted, imagine thinking an electric car company, cryptocurrency, or tech stock is going to be the thing that sets you free financially. It's just a lie we tell ourselves to avoid dealing with the reality that financial independence is much bigger than the size of our bank account.
Yeah, that was a cool one.
I like that a lot. I mean, just elaborate a little bit on that, or maybe it just takes a little time for that to sink into people.
I think that tweet was a little deeper than I actually anticipated it being.
Sure.
And I wanted to touch a few things in it. And it's one, not like, I think on face value, it's not getting caught up with the latest trend, and making a really risky situation. So when I wrote, it goes back to the article I wrote, like, I would die inside if college kids were taking their student loan money and plowing it into a speculative asset, crypto or
Terrible.
not. That's
Yeah.
that's a really bad idea. And
Terrible.
kind of like why I tweeted about, kids showing stock trading on TikTok, like, like they're playing Fortnite. Like, I love that they're getting involved, but like, let's get some real teachers in there, and before Mr. Market comes and teaches them, the lesson for them. But that, so on face value, it was just that, I want people to understand risk reward relationship. The deeper thing here is that financial independence, is solely how much wealth you've accumulated, and thinking that by jumping on whatever, you know, fad, craze, or otherwise, is going to be your ticket into not having to, worry about, almost anything in life, that it's going to solve your problems. And it's not. Like, financial independence goes far greater than, replicating a lifestyle. It's a mindset, it's a mentality, it's ultimately knowing who you are. And at the very heart, so financial advisor, through and through, financial planner through and through, we are doing our best. If we're doing our job right, we're doing our best to help individuals understand and figure out what their real goals are, what ultimately makes them happy, and put plans together to help them get there. And if you think it's just about, being disciplined with spending and saving and systematically contributing to whatever you believe in from an investment standpoint, if you think that's what's going to get you there, you're wrong. It's a big part of the equation. So look, if you're young, so here's like my blanket advice. Like, if you're on the younger side of the millennium and now Zoomer, millennial and now Zoomer spectrum, and this stuff excites you, right? Don't get excited over, Timmy or Susie who lucked out, and making some crazy bet that worked out in their favor. Instead, learn about it and uncover the things that are going to give you an advantage as you now mature into the workforce, into
Perfect.
adulthood, into whatever great things in life you want. That's the opportunity. So that's going as deep as I possibly can into that specific tweet.
That's
I
great.
want everyone to understand. People will go their entire lives and never understanding who they are or what it is they want for themselves. So the younger you are and begin thinking about these things, the happier you will be. I've seen money and how it affects people, not just at my age, but I grew up in this. I've watched planners with 30, 40 years experience on top of mine literally bring people from their 20s and 30s into, beautiful, living beautiful, thoughtful, deliberate lives. And that's what I want people to do. And I definitely can see a future where crypto, is a part of that. And we just need the roadmap to make that happen. That'd be super cool. It's awesome that I think we're well past the stage now of people thinking, this is some kind of Ponzi scheme. But I will
Well,
say this. I will end on this note, and I'm gonna be very clear about this, and I hope listeners find the humor in it. People need to understand that me personally, as much as I love this, like I love the crypto Twitter community. I've been blessed to be able to go between financial Twitter and crypto Twitter and make jokes at almost everyone's expense, including my own, most of all my own. But look, my basis, I have I've seen my wallet go from six figures down fast and furious to something that's not worth bragging about, and back up. Please understand that my basis is basically zero. If this works out, for me, this is how I kind of have fun. It's either zero or some astronomical number, selfishly, that makes me super super rich. Either way, I'm gonna have a ton of fun, right? I'm not taking it so seriously until such time as I can, because the rules aren't there for me to take it to that level yet, despite wanting to. But I'm just going to have a blast with this and learn as much as I humanly can. If it goes to zero, of course I'm going to dunk on everyone that thought it was real and have so many funny tweets lined up. Just the same as if it goes to, like, I get to play both sides, right? And if it goes to if it goes to 1 million, I'm laughing all the way to the bank. So I don't think a lot of people
and
get to
you're
take
dunking on the people that didn't listen to you and get it.
Oh, for sure. I am going to play both sides, Pat, depending on which way it goes. Watch me just like stay here where we are forever. This is it. Like, this is steady state pricing.
Which is still, I mean, that's still fine. It's still
super cool. Oh my God.
It's still, so cool to
Wonderful.
think. Even, when you think about it, if it was 6-8 months ago that we were down in the 5K range, I think 6K range, and here we are now. And it's just crazy to think of where it's been, and since I've gotten in 17, where it's come from, even since then. It's just crazy.
Yeah, there's more to come. This is early, very early in the narrative and in the story of it. And I'd be wary of, folks in my community that are super duper interested in rolling out whatever product they have. There's a lot of money to be made here.
Oh, yeah.
By it going, in the direction a lot of people want it to go. But even though there's probably commonality amongst those who want to see it, become normalized and become a portfolios, I think the intentions that people have are very different depending on who you're asking. The financial machine is always going to do what the financial machine is going to do, and that's try and make money. So, keep your eye on how other folks in my community, are talking about this. I do not know it all, and I'm not even close to knowing what you know and a lot of my friends in the space know. But I know enough to know who's, basically full of shit and who's not, and that counts for something.
It goes a long ways, because there's people that, especially when price is pumping, that will just blindly make calls and just are morons, and people follow them. And that's, to me, I can't stress that enough to people, is do your own research. You can't say that enough, and always have a plan, and always stick to your plan. Don't let someone influence you. Always, you can take other people's opinions, and but still stick to the plan. I deal with grain commodities a lot, and I can't tell you how many customers I have that we're going to sell some corn or beans, and then they call their broker and say, okay, I want to do this, but before we do that, what's everyone else doing? And then that talks them out of making the sale. And then it ends up that they, it goes the opposite direction of what they were thinking, and everyone else, and now including them, has lost potential gains. So, that's something I think everyone should stand firm on and live by, is make a plan before you enter a trade and stick to the plan.
Well, unfortunately, human behavior,
it's the biggest
tends to get in the way, and and that's the commonality, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't matter if you're talking beans, corn, commodities, crypto, even large cap US stocks. Your ability to understand what you want and put a plan, or in this case financial planning, around that, is the most valuable part of at least what I do for a living. And again, people are going to listen to, the financial pornography of how this one person made it that has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with their situation. But yet they'll apply that to their life and disaster will usually ensue.
All right, Doug, any final parts before we let you go?
Yeah, I just want to apologize to the greater crypto Twitter community for all the dank memes I've dropped at Bitcoin's expense. Honestly, it was for the likes and the retweets, which I was blessed with. So
it's all about that interaction.
it's just nice to know that I haven't been ousted from the community yet. But I would say this: look, there are great financial advisors, great CFPs who are super duper interested in this stuff. Please do not think that the whole lot of us are only interested in hawking traditional assets. We are paying attention. We do want to see. I know I'll speak for myself on this one. I want to see the space grow into becoming successful and useful for individuals to help them achieve financial independence and reach their financial goals. If we can put the right constraints around that and regulate it appropriately, we're going to have a bright future for it. And I think it's just going to take a lot of time, and people forget. They really forget. Even though things move faster than ever today in almost all aspects of our life, there are certain things, and the financial service industry is one of those things, that relatively moves very, very slow.
So true. So true. Well, thank you for your time, Doug. Everyone, that's Douglas Boneparth. Check him out at Doug Boneparth. Great guest. Thank you so much, Doug. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Perfect. So that was Doug. Again, I gave all of his Twitter information just a little bit ago. So check him out. Also, we will again. That's all we have for the first episode. Hopefully, you guys liked it. Again, it's The Core, brought to you by Zelcore Plus, the one cryptocurrency wallet for all your custody and trading needs. For more information on Zelcore Plus, check them out, Zel.network. I'm Dale. Check me out, Crypto Dale. We've got Nasty, Nick _ Naste, technically.
Naste, yeah.
Naste, hey. And then we've got LD Listen. It's at Listen Destro. Thanks for listening. We're going to have, I want you to know, we're going to have a mailbag for next episode. We'll tweet out that email address. We want to answer your questions. Any questions. Don't be stupid, though. Don't ask dumb questions. Dumb questions get dumb answers.
Oh my gosh.
If you want some life advice, I'm feeling good. So check it out. Again, as always, tip the waitress. Hootskis with the boys. Thanks for listening, everyone. Take it easy.